Hello and welcome to Sportsmo's World Cup discussion show. I'm Matt. Joining me today we have Liam, Barney and Pascal. In this episode we're going to talk about England's World Cup demise. So Barney, where did it all go wrong?
I think defensively was our main issue in this World Cup. I think there were encouraging signs going forward, but at the back we just looked shaky against the likes of Suarez and Balotelli, and I think that was the key difference. I mean, I didn't think before this World Cup that we were too different from Uruguay and Italy in terms of quality, and I still don't really. But it's just the presence of a key player, world-class player in both of those teams, with Pirlo, Balotelli and Suarez. And we don't really have that at international level. I mean, Gerrard and Rooney, they do it at club level, but haven't done it at international level, really. I think it's obviously a disappointing campaign. It's the first time we've gone out in the group stages since 1958. First time we lost our first two World Cup games. But I think there are encouraging signs, more so than a lot of the post-mortems are suggesting. They've been quite damning. They're saying it's humiliating, embarrassing. I don't think it is. I think there's more encouraging signs this World Cup than there was in 2010 and in the 2012 European Championships, really.
Pascal, it's quite strange, isn't it? Actually, Barney mentions, obviously, the first time they lost those two group games. It's been quite incredible the way they have actually, they might finish bottom of the group, depending on getting against Costa Rica. Do you think the encouraging signs that Barney mentioned, do you think that's a fair comment, that there's optimism going forward?
Definitely. I mean, there's been, like you said, it's very good encouraging signs at times. You know, in Barkley's come on, he's looked good. Sterling started really well against Italy. And we've been playing more exciting football than at previous tournaments. But it's like Barney said, we just come up short and we just lack that world-class player. I mean, I thought on another day we might have won both games. There were such fine margins. You know, Marquisio's shot in the first game might have hit one of those defenders. You know, Gerrard, that's just a mistake you can't account for against Uruguay. And, you know, maybe in the next tournament, 2016, we might be quite well equipped to have a good run. I just think this team has got a good base, but it just needs to build now on this, because it wasn't as bad as some people are saying, I don't think.
Liam, it seems to be every 4 years someone says, oh, we look into the next thing, you know, look to the next thing as we're young players. It seems to have been like for a while. Wayne Rooney said that we need to become a bit more tournament savvy. We need to become a bit more sort of experienced in digging out results. You can't always play brilliant, can you? You have to sometimes. I mean, Uruguay and Italy both didn't play brilliant against us, did they? It was fine margins, like Pascal says. Do you think that's a fair comment from Rooney, that they need to be a bit more sort of smart in those sort of games?
Yeah, definitely. But it is an inexperienced squad. But I think Godin, that incident in the Uruguay game where he sort of forearmed Sturridge, he's on a yellow card. And Sturridge has got straight back up and we've taken the free kick. Whereas had, say, Jagielka done that to Suarez would have been rolling around the floor holding his face. Uruguay players would have surrounded the referee and then they'd been off. But like I say, it is a young squad. I think 5 of them have played in the World Cup before, possibly 6. So they might learn that sort of thing, yeah, definitely.
Barney, what did you make of the Uruguay game? I mean, it was a game of, obviously they went 1-0 down, got the goal, and England were pushing forward, weren't they? They survived the spell in the second half where Uruguay were on the front foot. What do you make of their overall performance in that particular game?
Well, I think we performed probably better against Italy, but we had 62% possession against Uruguay. We weren't terrible. We weren't completely outplayed. I think Uruguay only had 2 shots on target as well, and those were 2 goals. The main difference between the two sides, I think, was just Luis Suarez, that presence of a world-class player who would take those 2 opportunities. And England didn't really have that. I mean, Rooney hit the bar, probably should have scored with that chance. And we had other decent chances, but we just didn't have a cutting edge like Uruguay did.
Pascal, Barney mentions, obviously, perhaps a lack of a world-class player. Obviously, Rooney and Gerrard probably are England's 2 most talented players. Do you think that was the main problem, that there was no one who sort of, you know, grabbed the horns, no one sort of came to the forefront, did they, like Suarez did for Uruguay, that sort of player? Do you think that's what they lacked?
Yeah, I mean, you look at players like, maybe Sturridge could have had a better tournament. You know, he's scored so many goals for Liverpool, but he didn't do loads up front. Obviously, good finish for the first goal, but he couldn't miss. And then there's the other players, you know, maybe, I don't know, Henderson could have done a bit more. I mean, he ran a lot, but he didn't sort of work with Gerrard as well as you thought they might have done from all that was their time playing at Liverpool. I mean, maybe he could have started Barkley. You know, Barkley is that sort of player who will just take players on and try and affect the game on his own terms. But maybe he came on too late in both games, and it looks like he's going to start now against Costa Rica. And if he can affect that game really well, then he's a player who probably will be starting for England in the next qualifying campaign and be one of the key players at Euro 2016.
Liam, mentioning Gerrard, I mean, I said in last week's episode that I wanted to see more from him. Not really technically and stuff like that on the ball, but sort of digging people out and organising. Didn't see too much from him. Obviously, the debate now is whether he carries on. He's going to make that decision after the summer. I mean, you personally, what do you think will happen with Gerrard?
I think it's time for sort of him to move on, both for himself as well and Liverpool, because obviously they're back in the Champions League and, you know, he has time off, he doesn't play internationally. I think he struggled in this tournament. The 2 games, whether it was the heat and the humidity, whether it was the fact that there was only 2 in there, whereas he's flourished in the midfield 3 with Liverpool. I'm not too sure, but I think it's probably time that he sort of, like I say, for himself and for the good of England. We've got youngsters coming through, Wilshere, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Barkley. It's time to give these a go now and move on, I think.
Barney, do you think that's an interesting point raised by leaving back the 3 in there? Do you think Gerrard struggled? Obviously at Liverpool, he has legs in there with him, doesn't he? He has a lot of players, whether it be Henderson or Joe Allen sometimes comes into there. There was a lot of movement. Do you think Gerrard maybe it wasn't made up for him because of the type of 2 he was playing in, that he didn't sort of dictate the game?
Yeah, well, he's playing in a slightly different role for England as he does to Liverpool. Obviously, he's more than capable of playing central midfield. We've seen that over his career, but yeah, maybe he doesn't have the legs to do that anymore. I still think England need to try everything in their power to keep him. I mean, I don't see anyone nearly as good as him replacing him. I mean, Wilshere's probably next in line. He can't control the game like Gerrard did. He didn't have a good World Cup. There's no getting around that, but he was there on merit. I mean, he's probably the best central midfielder in the Premier League last season, and he's been one of England's greatest ever players. I think we need to keep him.
That's good. I mentioned the future of obviously players, and then you've got the manager, Roy Hodgson. There's been talk about whether he should go, whether getting a younger man in, someone like, obviously, Brendan Rodgers is not going to leave Liverpool, certainly not now after leading the Champions League, but someone like that, someone who's going to, let them play. I'm not saying that Hodgson didn't do that, but some of his ideas may be a bit outdated. Do you think that's fair?
Maybe. I mean, the FA have said that he's staying on until Euro 2016. He's going to run out his contract. And, before he had been criticised with how we played at Euro 2012, this boring football, but he did change that this year. And you have to say, he let the youngsters, a lot of the youngsters play and tried to play more exciting. And, these youngsters, they are going to progress now. They're all playing regular Premier League football. And if he wants to carry on this more attacking mentality, then, let him do it. See if we can really sort of blitz through this qualifying campaign. And if we can build up a lot of confidence and these young players keep progressing, I think we can definitely have a good tournament in 2 years' time.
Liam, Alan Shearer recently said, quite interestingly, that obviously there was a lot of positivity about the tournament, but he wasn't sure whether it was quite good enough. I mean, it's okay to lose, playing well, lose 2 games, but is that enough for, is it all right to be the nearly team and stuff like that? We nearly got through, we nearly beat Uruguay, we nearly beat Italy. Do you think that it's become a time where England needs to start doing stuff now rather than being that team who's going to be there in 4 years?
I do get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think we need to be realistic. Italy and Uruguay are better than us, and that's just the way it is. There are a lot of teams at the World Cup that are better than us right now. We've got young players. The future is more positive than it was, say, after the 2010 World Cup, even after Euro 2012. Next time, I mean, the Euros, he should be looking to get to the quarterfinals at least, and we progress like that. To suggest that we should have gone far in this World Cup is ludicrous, really.
You think that's why? You think that quarterfinals? Some people mentioning quarterfinals, obviously.
I think. I mean, I always saw this tournament. If they get out of the group, they've done well, but purely because there's 2 good sides, and it turns out there's 3 good sides in it. But next time, if we qualify, which we should, they should be looking to go one better. Quarterfinals, definitely.
Finally, looking ahead to the Costa Rica game, obviously it doesn't mean too much in terms of the tournament. It's maybe a free pass. I think the interesting thing that Costa Rica are probably going to rest players because they're obviously into the next round. It gives, Roy Hodgson's already said that he will give youngsters a chance. Luke Shaw's expected to play. Ross Barkley's probably going to play. Do you think he should use that game to, give players tournament experience rather than just being there for the experience?
Yeah, I think he should, because otherwise I can't really see any reason in bringing Luke Shaw if he's not going to play a single minute. It'd be like Walcott going to the 2006 World Cup, for example. But I think, it is a free game. You might as well play your youngsters. I mean, we do want something from the game. We don't want to go out with 0 points without winning a single game, and Costa Rica won't be at full strength, I expect. They'll rest players, so losing 3 out of 3 to an understrength Costa Rica side would be pretty demoralising. But I think it's good that he's planning on giving youngsters a go. Yeah.
Pascal, do you think for the Costa Rica game it's good that going forward it'll give a good indicator of maybe the team in Euro 2016? I mean, probably it's like some Rooney, etc. probably still going to play, but there's going to be Barkley, Wilshere, possibly Smalling and Jones. It's a chance to see the future rather than players that might retire after this tournament. Yeah,
I mean, I think you will see a lot of players who are going to be ready to sort of step up in the next couple of years. I mean, the Euro 2016 campaign is a little bit easier than before because there's now 24 teams, I think, in the Euros. So, I mean, we're expected to really breeze through that qualifying, and Hodgson should use the next 2 years to really play all those different players and try things out and blood the youngsters. And I think that's what we'll do against Costa Rica. Definitely, there might even be more changes than people expect, I think, because like you said, there's nothing to lose. I mean, we're out, so why not just give like almost a whole new team a go? Why not?
Liam, now obviously is the time to look ahead. But before the tournament, Ashley Cole didn't go to the tournament. I mean, didn't play too much football last season because of obviously Cesar Azpilicueta had a great season. I know you weren't a massive fan of taking him. Looking back on that now, do you think he should have gone?
It's all hindsight, isn't it? I mean, it's the same with John Terry as well. I know he ruled himself out. Ashley Cole, looking back, yes. I mean, he wouldn't have got, he wouldn't have had such a hard time against Italy like Leighton Baines did. Baines was better against Uruguay, but it's a tough one because, like I said, I was behind the decision to take Baines and Shaw purely because they'd played all season, they'd played well for their clubs. Whereas Cole, when he did play well, but he didn't play for long enough. I certainly wouldn't be criticising Hodgson for not taking Cole because I can understand the decision.
Obviously, Cole's old teammate, Barney, John Terry, didn't go to the tournament, ruled himself out. But do you think Roy Hodgson should have done more to get him? I mean, he's probably widely accepted. Cahill, I know Pascal's a massive fan of Cahill, I am as well. I think last season, him alongside Terry, that probably was the best centre-back partnership in the league, wasn't it, quite comfortably. Do you think Hodgson done enough to get Terry there? And would it have been a different story if Terry was there?
Well, he probably could have done enough, but I think Terry ruling himself out of England, you can't push him too much. If you don't want to play for England, you don't want to play for England. And obviously he's got issues with the FA that go further than just Hodgson and playing for England. It might have been a different story. Him and Cahill got a good understanding, and I think Jagielka was quite suspect throughout the tournament. But no, I wouldn't have taken Terry just because he ruled himself out. I mean, it's his own decision, and yeah, I don't think you can read too much into that really.
Thank you very much for watching. That's all we've got time for today. Join us again soon.